All right, welcome back. Time to do some surfacing on our key fob design. To do that, we are going to use the tool called Skin, and we'll look at some of the options that Skin has to offer. So let's head out to the 3D world by hitting F8, or we are there already. Oh, there we go. And see what we got here. We got three curves so far. And what I want to do is I know for a fact that this car key is 12 millimeters thick. You can see that because you only have one flat picture. But what I want to do is take these curves, bring them down 6 millimeters, make a copy of them and move that copy up 12 millimeters. Because I want these to represent the edges and the thickness of my car key. So let's do that. Pick curves, all of them, like so, and move them. And now I'm going to type in the value I'm going to move them. And remember that we're working in a scale 10 to 1. So 6 millimeters is actually 60 millimeters in our world. So I type in 0 space 0 and minus 60 to bring those curves down, like so. Now we have them 6 or 60 millimeters below this symmetry plane here. So I make a copy of these by using Control C and then Control V to paste them into the same spot as before. And I move them, move, and type in 0 space 0, 120, like so. Now we have two sets of curves that we can use Skin to create surfaces between. I'm going to turn off the canvas plane temporarily by hitting the canvas layer like that and see what we got here. Also, we could turn off the grid. Don't need that anymore. Also, we could turn off by picking all the curves, the CV points, and also the edit points. Leaves us with this set of curves. So let's open the Skin tool and see what that has to offer. You've probably used it before and collect one curve and another curve, and it creates a surface right in between those curves. Only problem here is that this surface right here is absolutely flat in this direction, and we want to add some shape to it. I want this to be crowned slightly. It's hard to see. We put some color to it. Maybe you can see that it's absolutely flat right there, and we don't want that. So let's turn on the crown mode. It's right here if you want, but it's also in our menu window right here. So if we turn on the crown mode to proportional, we can actually take this arrow and pull the surface out and watch what happens. I'm going to exaggerate slightly so that you can see what is actually happening. This is way too much, in my opinion. Well, I have the car key in my hand here, so we just want a slight frowning of this surface. And I would say a value of 0.02 or something would do the trick for us. We can take 250 maybe. That looks nice, doesn't it? You can play around with all of these sliders here in the skin tool if you want to. I'm going to go to the next two curves, and with the tool open, it keeps the settings, and I can actually just draw a window over the two curves I want, like that. Just make sure that the crown goes in the right direction. In this case, we need to flip it. And there is this crown flip that we can check or uncheck. So I'm going to flip it back to the correct direction of crowning. And finally, if I hit next, draw a window over these two. And it too needs to be flipped. So I check the box, crown flip, like so. Okay, so what does this leave us with? We have free surfaces now. If we turn on the grid again, we can see that this one is on the side, or we could actually turn on the canvas as well and see that we now starting to enclose the shape of our car key like this. Obviously, we need to round off these corners and a bunch of other stuff. What I want to do now is to actually trim away the part of these two surfaces that's crossing our symmetry plane. So I'm going to create a plane to use as an intersection with these two, and then trim away the parts that I don't need. So I go to surfaces, primitives, plane, type in 0 space 0 space 0, and I end up with a plane line like that. But I want it to be my symmetry plane, so it needs to rotate. So I rotate it 0 and 90 degrees around the y-axis and 0 degrees around the z-axis, like so. And also we need to scale that plane. So I hit scale and make sure it intersect my two surfaces right here. We can take away the grid. So I go intersect this one that was already active with this surface here and that surface right there. And now we can trim those. We can actually get rid of the plane by deleting it. I still have my curves on surface right there and right there. So I go trim, pick the surface and the area I want to keep right there, and spacebar. And the other one, same way. Keep that part and trim. Okay. So now, what do we have? A bit less than we had a minute ago, I suppose. But these are useful surfaces and they're correct. So let's create a new layer. Call that surf. And pick our surfaces, assign them to our new layer, like so. Now we can cancel or what do you call it? Släcka the curves like that. So we only see the surfaces now. Now, if I want to see what this looks like in a mirrored state, I can actually use the layer function symmetry right here. But before I do that, I need to set the symmetry plane for this particular layer as well. So set symmetry plane and click on the correct plane symbol, which is that little black square you see right there. And set plane. Now I can toggle between the actual geometry and a mirrored image of the symmetric part of our surfaces. So if I go right click on the layer and then symmetry, I get to see what it looks like when mirrored. But this is not the actual geometry. You can see that it's dashed. So it's not an actual geometry unless you want it to be. Once you're finished and happy with the results, you can go ahead and create this geometry using, again, right click on the layer and symmetry plane, create symmetric geometry. It goes then from a ghost image to actual geometry. So if I hit that, I actually create the geometry. But we don't want that yet, so I'm gonna delete that once again. So, and stop right there. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.